Alright, spare time projects here, and just got to thinking the other day and decided to give it a shot, but I've got these crates here, and basically this is surplus ammunition for a Mosin nagant, and this is how it was packaged in the factory as early as the 60s, 70s, 80s, anywhere in there, and it's put in storage for years and years, and basically you can buy this and it's a lot cheaper than buying new factory loads. They're not necessarily as consistent or as clean burning. In fact, it's corrosive ammunition, but it's a good cheap alternative. And you get this crate here if you order 880 rounds, and it contains 2 spam cans. And what you do is basically it's just nailed down twice here, and it's kind of a rough metal hinge, and you got this thing here that you open it and close it. You bend it out of the way and you can open it up, and you got 2 spam cans in here, and each can has 440 rounds. And yeah, so the other day I got to thinking, well, it's kind of a cool looking crate, you know, it's got all this markings on it, and it's, you know, convenient. It can fit under a bed or store anywhere. So why not make it to where you can store other ammo in it when the surplus is gone? You know, it's a pretty solid little box. It's fairly thick and kind of sturdy. So I got to thinking maybe I should try to make a actual storage ammunition box out of it. So went to Lowe's and got a piano hinge, 12 inches. The crate's about 13 inches wide. A little bit bigger than that. Got a little 12-inch hinge and clasps for shutting it. I'd probably only use one, but decided to kind of give it a shot, and maybe I can make a decent little box out of it. So what I'm going to do so far here is, you know, I've got these things. Basically, it's riveted. You think they look like nails, but it's actually a rivet if you look on the other side. So I was able to pry the metal off around it, so the top is loose. And this thing here is kind of a pain. I'm trying to get it off without really marring up the box. Well, I got it off. Very, very annoying. See if I can get the rest of this rivet out. Yep. It's a long-winded rivet. It's about the length of a .22 shell. Now I'm going to try to get these off, the hinges off the other side. Alright, there's the second one. Second one's off. So now we have the box. I'm trying to put a hinge in it. Alright, well, I got it all trimmed down. I trimmed it right at where it curved towards the top of the box. Doesn't look too bad. It's not my prettiest job ever, but it'll work. And the hinge does fit. So the hinge is just going to go just like that. Center it up and drill it in. Only problem I'm facing here that I know I'm going to have trouble with is that the top is pretty thin, and the screws for the hinges not so much. So basically they're going to be sticking through about that much. So I think what I'm going to have to end up doing is drilling the hinge into the top and then filing that down. It wouldn't normally be a problem, except for the fact that it's going to be drilling into this. The screws are going to be hitting that. So I'm going to have to file the screw down once I get the hinge in, I think. It's about the only way I know to avoid that problem. Alright, well, after filing down the screws after I got them in the top, I was able to get it to close down enough to get it on the back. And it was a close call because without being able to without filing down those screws, it would have not made it onto this part of the wood. It would have still been in the top or in that crack. So it was a good thing I filed it down as far as I could and got it as flat to the top as I could so these bolts could actually grab the rest of the box. But it's on there now. Opens up. Works fine. So now I just need to put the hinge on the front of it. Okay, well, I got the hinge on, or the top part of it anyway, and as you can see it's kind of a close call because it did start to kind of split the wood a little bit, and you can't really see it on here, but it did kind of, you can feel it kind of bulging on it, but it's not terrible. Seems like it'll hold still as long as you're not terribly rough with it. But one thing I gotta work on here is that it hangs lower than the top, so it will not let the top rest completely on the crate. So I'm gonna have to file down the wood here right where that comes down to let it sit flush. And now I got it filed down to where it seals pretty tight. I may or may not touch it up a little bit because it seems like it might go a little bit more, but it looks certainly better than what it was. So now I gotta put the rest of the hinge on, and hopefully we'll have a functioning hinged box. Alright, well, got the rest of the hinge on, and looks pretty good. It works. Looks pretty good. Fully functioning hinge, works pretty good. Everything's smooth. And the hinge barely clears this handle here. Barely. That much clearance. Perfect. So we got the hinge on here. Works pretty well. Got the latch up here. Works pretty well. The only modification I had to do was on the back here. I had to notch out for the hinge to clear because I did not have a shorter hinge to fit between these two here. So I just notched these two out. But other than that, really no modifications, just screwed everything on and you have a fully functioning, hinged, and lockable, put a lock in here, ammo storage or whatever storage you want to use it for. Stay tuned for more little spare time projects. Like and subscribe. Thanks.